This happened when I was doing overnight shifts at a hospital in upstate New York. Back then, I was a new nurse, still figuring out the ropes. One of the older nurses gave me a piece of advice on my first night. If they ever ask you to take a patient to room 6B, don't. I laughed, but I thought she was messing with me, but she looked at me like she really meant it. Weeks go by, nothing weird happened. Then one night, the charge nurse tells me, "We've got a patient transfer coming up. Room 6B. I freeze and remember what the old nurse said, but I'm new. I'm not gonna argue over superstition, so I went and prepped the room. Here's the thing, 6B just feels wrong. It's at the end of this long hallway that hardly anyone uses anymore. When you walk in, the air is colder than the rest of the floor. Not AC cold, dead cold. The bed looks like it's been sitting there untouched for years, even though housekeeping swears they clean it weekly. And the walls? They've got these faint stains that never come out, no matter how much they scrub. Anyway, I get the patient settled. It was an older guy. He has just gotten out of surgery. Everything's fine for the first hour. Then the call light goes off. I head down there, and as I get closer, I swear I hear voices in the room. Not his voice, but multiple voices whispering fast like a crowd of people talking all at once. I open the door and silence. The guy is sitting in his bed, wide awake, sweating. He grabs my arm and says, "They're in the walls." I ask, "Who?" He says, "The ones who burned. They're stuck here." I try to calm him down, check his vitals, but his heart rate is through the roof. I call for help, but before anyone gets there, his monitor flatlines. Just like that. We tried everything, but he's gone. Later, I tell the old nurse what happened. She just nods and says, "That room's cursed. Back in the 70s, there was a fire. Patients got burned alive in there. It's like the room has gotten cursed since that happened. The people who stay in 6B, they don't make it out." I used to do security at a big city hospital, and part of my rounds included the basement, the storage rooms, maintenance halls, and the morgue. I hated the morgue. It was always freezing down there, and even when it was empty, you felt like you weren't alone. One night, around 3 a.m., I get a call about a possible power issue near the basement. So I head down, and the halls are darker than usual, only the emergency lights were on. I pass the morgue, and something catches my eye through the little window in the door. A man was standing inside. Now the morgue is supposed to be locked after hours. No one should be in there except pathologists, and they're long gone by midnight. I shine my light through the glass, and yeah, there's a man in a hospital gown, pale as chalk, just standing between the drawers facing the wall. I knock on the door. "Sir, you okay in there?" He did not answer. I knock again, but harder this time. That's when he turns his head, just his head, and looks at me. I call it in and ask for backup, but when I look back through the glass, he's gone. The door's still locked. I unlock it, step inside, and the room is empty. No sign that anyone was there. The next morning, I tell the morgue attendant what happened. He gets real quiet, then asks me what the guy looked like. I describe him, and the color drains from his face. He says, "You just described John Marks." I ask who that is. Turns out, Marks was a patient who died 2 weeks earlier. And the worst part? He died in the gown I just saw him wearing. Back when I was doing clinical rotations as a med student, I had to spend the night in the psych ward of an old hospital. This place had been around since the 1930s. Stone walls, narrow hallways, the whole gothic vibe. Most of it had been modernized, but some wings still looked straight out of a horror movie. It's around 2 a.m. when I suddenly hear screaming. Not the kind you usually hear on a psych floor. This was different. Raw, animalistic, echoing down the hall. The nurse says, "Oh, that's room 12. Don't worry about it." Which, of course, makes me worry about it. I ask what's wrong with the patient, and she just says, "There is no patient." That stops me cold. What do you mean, no patient? I can hear someone screaming. She shrugs like she's tired of explaining it and says, "Room 12's been empty for years, just don't open the door." I can't let that go. When things calm down, I'm going to walk down the hall. Sure enough, the screaming is coming from behind room 12's door. It sounds loud and desperate, like someone's being tortured. I grab the handle and turn it slowly. Push the door open and the screaming stops. The room is completely empty. No furniture, no bed, just bare walls with deep scratch marks all over them. Like someone spent years trying to claw their way out. When I turn to leave, I hear it again, only now it's whispering, right in my ear. A man's voice saying, "Close the door." I slammed that door and ran, never went near that room again.